Have you ever noticed how things don't seem to stay the same? We can get very used to little things like how a kitchen looks, and then suddenly it can change without warning. Oh. See, a few months ago, we all took it for granted, didn't we, that every Sunday morning we'd come here, we'd sit in one of these chairs, and we'd listen to a kids talk. Well, now we've kind of had to get used to this. And this place, well, it's looking a little bit different too. See, change can be a really good thing. Hopefully, when we're allowed to come back together as a church again, we'll have a nice new kitchen and we'll even have nice new chairs to sit on. You might all be a little bit taller than you were last time you were here, and let's be honest, after 4 months of homeschooling, your mums and dads, they might have a few more grey hairs than they did last time they were here too. But change can also be an unsettling thing and sometimes even scary. Like if your mum and dad, they change job, or maybe you have to move house, even move to a new town. You have to leave all your friends behind and make new friends. This week, you guys have reached the end of another year at school. When September rolls round again, hopefully you'll all be allowed to go back to school. Some of you will have new teachers, some of you have new classes, some of you are starting school for the first time, and some of you, like Rachel, Katie and Christian, you've finished primary school and it's time for the big world of secondary school. How are you all feeling about those changes? Whether we want them to or not, lots of things change all of the time. And as each of you prepare for those big changes in your lives, wouldn't it be nice to just have something in our lives that doesn't change, that stays reliably the same forever? Well, the good news is that there is. It's God. See, God never changes, and neither does his word, the Bible. But here's the thing, there are lots of people who say that God is outdated. He's not important anymore because he hasn't changed, and somehow that makes him less important. See, what it is people change, and people want to change God to fit with how they want to live their lives and how they want things to be. Well, that would be no good at all. There are so many people in the world with so many different ideas on how things should be done that if God were to give us new commandments based on all these different ideas, there wouldn't just be 10, there'd be millions. And the really difficult thing would be that because there are so many people with so many different ideas, that sooner or later, every single one of them would be undone by another one. Even silly things like somebody might say, I think everybody should have to wear bright and colourful clothes every day. But then someone else will have said, I think everyone should wear black clothes every day. Things would get really confused and really difficult to follow, and nothing would ever get done. But because God is unchanging, there's none of that. See, God laid out his plan for the whole world before the world began. And he doesn't change at all. He's there. He's good and constant. A God on whom we can rely. There's a passage in Isaiah which might help us here. It says, Do you not know? Have you not heard? The Lord is the everlasting God, the creator of the ends of the earth. He will not grow tired or weary, and his understanding no one can fathom. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Isaiah chapter 40, verses 28 to 31. There's a lot in that little passage, isn't there? God is the creator. He's everlasting. We can get tired and we can fall and fail, but God doesn't. God gives us strength, and when we trust in God, it says the help he will give us will make us feel like we can soar through the skies like eagles. Wow! Do you remember the parable of the wise and the foolish builders? See, the foolish builder, he built his house on the shifting and changing sand. And when the storms came and the house was battered, it fell down. But the wise builder, he built his house on the rock. And when the storm came and the house was tested, it stood firm. You see, God is that rock. He's strong and firm to build our life upon. And doing so, it will keep us safe. Now, to help you remember that God is unchanging, I thought it might be a good idea to have a look at this bike wheel. See, if we take these little Lego characters to represent you guys, and we put them near the outer edge of the wheel, there, then think about life as it happens. Things start to move, and suddenly you find everything around you is changing all the time. It can feel dizzying, it can feel strange. But there's one bit of the wheel that isn't really moving, is it? Here, at the middle. It's called the axle. And that's what I want you to picture. When it feels like things are changing too fast, like things are moving constantly, I want you to think of this wheel. I want to think of yourselves on the outside. And then I want you to picture the axle as being like God. It's there, it's steady, it's constant. It's got the strength to hold it all together. And everything else goes around it. It's at the centre of all things. It isn't spinning wildly. And no matter how fast life seems to go, he's got the strength to hold on to you and to guide you safely round again. So there we have it. God is unchanging, and it's a good thing for us. Because if it wasn't, then we wouldn't know what was going on. Hang on, when did that happen? Hang on. That's better. I hate it when that happens, don't you? So as I was saying, God is unchangeable. And because he's unchangeable, we can base our lives upon him, and we can trust him, and we can be assured. Today's verse to learn is in Hebrews chapter 13, verse 8. And it says, Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Have a go at that verse and let me see how you get on. See you next week.